Hi everyone, my name is Yara and today I'm going to be talking about books that remind me of Disney movies. I was inspired to make this video because of a video Natasha made from the channel Tashopolis. I thought the video was so much fun, so I decided I'd take it on for myself. Just put a little disclaimer in the front of this. A lot of these books are not exactly one-to-one in terms of comparison or parallels. A lot of them are just because they have similar vibes or similar target audiences and moods. Some of these were honestly like that implicit association test where I just was like, they just clicked together in my mind. That's what I associated it with. Alright, let's just jump right into it. The first two I have is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine and Saving Mr. Banks. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. It's basically about this 29-year-old woman named Eleanor Oliphant who is kind of a weirdo. She is very quirky in the most extreme sense of the word. She lacks a lot of social skills and is very much in her own head. She likes to live her life organized and on a schedule with not much surprises, and this changes when she meets someone named Raymond, who is the IT guy at the company she works with. And through their interactions and friendship, we slowly learn more about Eleanor and how she got to where she is now. Saving Mr. Banks was a movie that came out in 2014 from Disney, and it basically tells the story of the creation of the Mary Poppins movie. It tells the story of P.L. Travers, who is the author of the book Mary Poppins, and also as Walt Disney approaches her to create this new movie. The reason why I picked these two movies for each other is because I think Eleanor and P.L. Travers have a very similar stubbornness and demeanor to them. They're almost stuck in their own views. They want things to be the way they are. Like in Saving Mr. Banks, one of the main conflicts is that Walt Disney wants to make this movie more kid-friendly, more magical, add more fantastical elements to it, where P.L. Travers is like, no, don't use my book. And both stories uses this technique of like memories or even false memories to kind of show the development of the character to where they are now, and we can slowly understand their past. Both these stories are so enjoyable and have so much humor in them, but they also really tug at your heartstrings. Both of these are some of my favorite stories of all time, and I highly recommend both of them. Next I have The City of Brass by S.K. Chakrabarty and Aladdin. Wow, who would have guessed? I know, not that surprising. The City of Brass is about a girl named Nari who is a thief and con artist, and she's kind of living this really sly life in Cairo until one day where she accidentally summons a jinn warrior. Obviously, the main commonality between these two stories is their focus on Middle Eastern folklore and literature. Aladdin was based off of the stories from Arabian Nights, and The City of Brass is based off of Islamic mythology. So let's go through the parallels here. They both star a thief. The thieves in both stories end up meeting a prince/princess of that world, and there's a magic carpet in both. Now I will say they have two very distinctive moods. The City of Brass is much less lighthearted and fun. Not to say that it's devoid of humor or lighthearted moments. I would just consider this book to lean towards the adult side in terms of its themes. But I think if you're really interested in Middle Eastern literature and Middle Eastern lore, then I really recommend checking out this book. And of course, Aladdin is great. The next book I have is To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han and High School Musical. I know, this sounds a little strange, but hear me out. They give off the same vibe, okay? Like in terms of plot or characters, they aren't very similar. But they do have, obviously, that high school rom-com vibe because they are both rom-coms. Also, both are trilogies, and throughout the trilogies, they explore various aspects of high school and of teenage years. And also the last of each trilogy has to do with college and college decisions, and I think there's some very similar themes between those two. Oh, I forgot to explain To All the Boys. It's basically about this girl named Lara Jean Songcovey who, whenever she had a crush that was so intense and so emotional, she would write down a love letter and she wouldn't send them out. But one day, she finds out that all these letters have been sent out. You probably know the story. It came out as a Netflix movie over the summer, and it's gotten so much buzz, and both the movie and the book are fantastic, by the way. I'd recommend both. But yeah, I think both High School Musical and To All the Boys have this kind of like lighthearted, have this really nice, young, high school feeling rom-com thing going on. And I think they both satisfy that kind of contemporary craving. Also, can we talk about how Mrs. Darbus recommended Troy to audition for Juilliard? Like, boy, you're good at singing and all, but like, Juilliard? Okay, no, whatever, off topic. This next one is kind of a little weird, but like I said, this is just what I found there to be a lot of similarities. And it's The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken and Descendants. The Darkest Minds is essentially about there's a disease that spreads across America and it kills like a lot of the population of children. However, what's weirder is the ones that survive actually end up gaining powers. The government fears what these kids can do and they place them in these kind of rehabilitation camps that end up being concentration camps. And we follow the main character, Ruby, who ends up having these powers through her experience in this whole clusterfuck of a world. Descendants is basically about the children, all the Disney heroes, and as well as the Disney villains. All the villains have been locked up on this island called the Eye of the Lost, but a new initiative from the king decrees that they want to bring in a few of the villains' children and bring them into the school on the mainland. And I guess try to encourage integration. Honestly, what sparked me to say these two were similar was the relationship between Ben and Mal in Descendants and Ruby and Liam in The Darkest Minds. Both Mal and Ruby have this kind of complex where they constantly think they're evil and not really deserving of having good things or of having their counterpart, because their counterpart, Ben and Liam, are literally like puffballs of joy and kindness and cuteness. Both Ruby and Mal are also really headstrong and like make these really rash decisions because they want to either protect something or because they think that their perspective is the best way to go. Next I have A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman and Up. Again, these two are some of my favorite stories of all time. The premises of these two are actually very similar. They both follow these old men who are kind of like irritable and grumpy. In the case of A Man Called Ove, you throughout the story you learn how he got to where he is and his history. In Up, you learn in the beginning, and both meet someone younger who's new, kind of leads them on this journey of character development. If you're in the mood for a really heartwarming story that makes you laugh but also makes you cry, then these two both serve the same purpose. There actually is a movie of A Man Called Ove, but I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard some good reviews. It was nominated for an Oscar. Next I have Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson and the Hannah Montana movie. Second Chance Summer is about this girl, don't remember her name. She and her family go back to their lake house that they used to spend every summer on, and the main character kind of has to confront some things that she kind of never addressed in the past, and she has a second chance to fix what she messed up in the past. So in that sense, both these stories have to do with someone going back to some part of their past. In Hannah Montana, she's going back to, was it Tennessee? I think it's Tennessee. Both deal with conflict with people in their past. Both have cute love story elements. And honestly, The Climb, which was like, you know, the main theme song of the Hannah Montana movie, kind of encompasses both. I think like the lyrics just speak to both stories. Next I have Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch and the Lizzie McGuire movie. Love and Gelato is about a girl named something. Clearly I can't remember names of anything. Lena. It's about a girl named Lena who her mom recently passed away, and it was her mom's dying wish for her to go to Florence, Italy. She doesn't really know why. She's told that she's going to stay with someone who was important to her mom in the past. These two are very similar in aesthetic. They both are set in Italy. They both employ this kind of secret adventure aspect. In Love and Gelato, it's about finding out about her mom's past and her college years through these journals that she gets. And in the Lizzie McGuire movie, it's that whole, like, you know, undercover pop star situation. And both also have some cute romances. Also, the moped. And in actuality, I think this is a combination of the Lizzie McGuire movie and Mamma Mia, because also Lena doesn't know who her dad is. Okay, these next couple are just kind of like a speed round. I don't want to say obvious, but like low-key obvious. Uprooted by Naomi Novik and Beauty and the Beast. You know, beast/dragon lives in a tower in a castle, takes a girl from the village. Hamlet and the Lion King. It's literally a retelling. Six of Crows and Toy Story 3. They both have heists, okay? I'm really trying my hardest here. Heroes of Olympus and Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a lot of battles on ships. Okay, I'm gonna stop. That's enough. Alright, those were some books that reminded me of Disney movies. This is probably not going to be the last time I do this. As I read more books, they'll probably remind me of Disney movies too, and as more Disney movies come out, I'll probably find books that relate to them. So this will probably be a series in the future. Not gonna make any promises, but I can see that happening. Please let me know what books remind you of Disney movies, or maybe the other way around. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!